This week in gaming, PAX South kicked off. Former Rockstar North head Leslie Benzies has announced a new game titled Everywhere, in development using Amazon Lumberyard, and that's all we know. A proposed solution to early access game abandonment has generated massive controversy. LEGO Worlds has been confirmed for release on the Nintendo Switch. Square Enix is teaming up with Marvel to release some games, starting with the Avengers project. Ni no Kuni 2 will be coming to the PC as well as PS4. Owlboy has been released on OS X, Dirt 4 has been announced, and there's a new Overwatch mode live. And this week, we're back, and better than ever, with a special episode on crowdfunding video games. This is 1RBC Gaming Weekly.
They say the time of heroes is over.
To start with, this week Marvel Entertainment and Square Enix announced a multi-game partnership for the development of Marvel-related video games. A teaser was released for what's currently titled The Avengers Project, along with the news that we'd be hearing more about it in 2018. According to the official press release, this game features a completely original story. There's no other real information on the game, but it seems pretty strongly implied that it involves Marvel's Avengers. We invite you to wildly speculate. What do you think the Avengers project will turn out to be? Hit us up on Twitter at OneRuleBeCool and let us know. We'll share your thoughts on next week's episode. This show mostly focuses on video games, but we're not scared to branch off into board games. Neither, it seems, is the Penny Arcade Expo. This week, PAX Unplugged has been announced. It's a new Penny Arcade Expo event that will take place November 17th through the 19th at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. According to the announcement, it will feature tabletop and board games, along with game-inspired music concerts, tournaments, and more. Frankly, this doesn't surprise me. Tabletop gaming has always had quite a presence at PAX events, though the focus of the shows has been video games. It's nice to see that the expanding world of tabletop games is getting a show of its own. In Overwatch news, this week Blizzard kicked off a seasonal event. It's the Year of the Rooster, and there are Lunar New Year themed cosmetic items as well as a new mode, Capture the Rooster, which is basically capture the flag. This came as a bit of a surprise to Overwatch fans because while Blizzard generally does have special seasonal modes, CTF is something they mentioned would be difficult to integrate into Overwatch. I've played some CTF, or CTR. It's interesting in that it calls for a lot more strategy than the game usually involves. Typically in Overwatch, you're on the offensive or defensive side, or maybe you're wrestling for control of a single point. In this mode, however, you have to keep your flag protected while trying to cap the enemy's flag. Many of the matches I've seen thus far have ended in ties. If you go into this mode, you'd better have a plan. Overwatch continues to grow in popularity. This week, Blizzard announced that the game has crossed the 25 million player mark. It's been said that now is the best time to be a PC gamer. There are more games on the market than ever before in tremendous variety. Hardware is improving quickly and becoming ever more affordable, and it's becoming the first platform of choice for quite a number of developers. This week, a report from John Petty Research revealed that the PC gaming market has hit an all-time high of $30 billion worldwide. In 2016, gaming computers, components, and accessories saw tremendous sales, with high-end systems comprising over 40% of the total market. Much of the growth of PC gaming has actually come from the Asia-Pacific region. However, most of the sales of high-end hardware were in North America and Europe. On the subject of PC gaming, this week Microsoft made an interesting announcement. Game Mode for Windows 10, which will grant to games running on the platform priority access to system resources. Basically, you can expect more steady frame rates and less hitching while gaming on Windows 10. I haven't tried it, and unless you're part of Microsoft's Windows Insider program, you're gonna have to wait for its release in the springtime, along with the rest of the Creators Update. That said, I think this is a pretty great concept, especially for gamers with mid to low-end PCs. Last week, Nintendo revealed some important details regarding the upcoming Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. In a statement made to IGN, Nintendo said that the game will run at 30 frames per second on both the Switch and the Wii U, and that if you'd like to play the game on the Wii U, you'll need at least 3 GB of space free on your console, as the game needs to install part of itself in order to run properly. Further, the Wii U version of the game will run at 720p, whereas the Switch version will run at 900p. Most importantly to collectors, there will be no Special Edition or Master Edition for the Wii U. Finally, the Switch version will have higher quality sound effects alongside its improved visuals. Now, in case you're waking up from a coma or unfamiliar with gaming, in which case thank you for tuning in and we hope you stick with us, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is coming out on March 3rd, 2017 on both the Nintendo Switch and the Wii U, and thus far, it's the biggest game in the franchise. An open-world adventure full of puzzles to solve, monsters to beat, food to cook. It looks pretty exciting. So far, there's quite a bit of excitement for the Nintendo Switch. Research firm DFC Intelligence has forecast that the Switch is set to sell 40 million units, nearly twice as many as Nintendo's last failed console in recent memory, the GameCube. Oh, you were thinking of the Wii U, weren't you? Sorry, Wii U. Do you think that the Nintendo Switch is going to be as big a hit as the analysts are saying? Hit us up on Twitter at OneWillBeCool and let us know.
You must save her, my daughter.
While we're talking about the Nintendo Switch, this week the Tomorrow Corporation announced that 3 of their games will be coming to the Switch. They are World of Goo, Little Inferno, and Human Resource Machine. These are all set to hit Nintendo's new console on launch day. Now these titles are all puzzlers, with Human Resource Machine being a puzzler about programming workers to solve problems. Little Inferno, meanwhile, is about burning your belongings for warmth. World of Goo, their oldest game, is a physics-based platformer about building structures for delivering the titular balls of goo. I confess, I've only played World of Goo, but I really enjoyed it. It seems that their other games have also gotten fantastic critical reception, so if you're picking up a Switch on or around launch day, you may want to consider their games. The game, She Remembered Caterpillars, was released on Steam last week, and frankly, I don't think it got the attention that it deserved. This gorgeous puzzler features art that's rather reminiscent of Samorost and Pikmin. It's cute, very forest floor organic. I played some, and the premise is pretty simple. You direct these cute little creatures onto launch pads where they helicopter their way to the next puzzle. The thing is, however, there are obstacles that can be crossed by some of the creatures, but not others, based on their color. However, you can combine them in order to create a purple creature that can go on to both sorts of platforms, but can't cross either sort of obstacle. It's very strange, but really interesting. She Remembered Caterpillars is available for Mac and Windows, and is well worth checking out. Thus far it's gotten pretty good critical reception, and the players seem to enjoy it as well. If you're a fan of RPGs, you may be pleased to hear that Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue was released this week on the PlayStation 4. In case you're wondering what that mess of a title means, essentially, this is 3 separate Kingdom Hearts experiences in one box. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, which was originally released on the Nintendo 3DS, some cinematics, and a playable prologue by the name of A Fragmentary Passage that's all set before the upcoming third game. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Kingdom Hearts, you should know that it's an RPG series that combines Disney characters with the worlds of Final Fantasy into a rather strange, but surprisingly compelling video game. I confess to not having played the series yet, in part due to the fact that it has several spin-offs for several different consoles. This has resulted in a spaghettification of the lore. I'm just waiting for them to combine the whole thing into a single package onto PC, though I have a feeling that I'll be waiting for quite some time. Even if you've already played Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS, from what I've heard, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue might be worth picking up for the extra few hours of content that it adds to the series. Now, regarding critical reception, it's been sort of mixed. Much of the criticism focuses on poor writing in the hour-long cutscene, control issues, and lack of improvements over the 3DS version of Dream Drop Distance. Except, of course, for the visuals. Crowdfunding is one of the most interesting things to emerge in the 21st century thus far. The democratization of investment has resulted in increased viability for niche products and some rather unusual innovations. It's had a big impact on the game industry as it's resulted in more independently produced games on bigger budgets. Indie devs have been able to make their games bigger, faster, and more beautiful thanks to the magic of crowdfunding. With crowdfunding has come a number of controversies regarding game delays, fraud, and mishandling of funds. There's also been an explosion of great games we'd not have otherwise seen. Things like Hyper Light Drifter and FTL Faster Than Light are the result of Kickstarter. These are projects that might have otherwise been relegated to small, dark corners of the internet as prototypes and concepts. Thanks to crowdfunding, these games found more than just resources. They found an audience, something that's been harder and harder for indie devs of late to find. With dozens of games released on Steam every week, it's not enough for a video game just to be good. It has to be something special. Kickstarter and other crowdfunding platforms have helped bring these special games to the fore. As much as crowdfunding has been successful for video games have been successful for crowdfunding, as some of the biggest crowdfunding success stories of recent years have been video games. For instance, while it was a failure after launch, one of the biggest crowdfunding success stories of all time is the Ouya. Incidentally, its failure after launch also made it kind of infamous as the crowdfunding poster child for what goes wrong when you crowdfund a product. For every high-profile failure like the Ouya, however, there are dozens of video games which are crowdfunded, for which crowdfunding is a success. Crowdfunding shows no sign of going away anytime soon. With the emergence of more platforms, such as Indiegogo, which is like a sketchier version of Kickstarter, as well as Fig, which is a crowdfunding platform exclusively for games in which backers can become investors with equity in a project, the love affair between video games and crowdfunding continues growing stronger. Is it for the best? If handled correctly and responsibly, I believe so. This week on 1RBC Gaming Weekly, we'll be taking a look at some current crowdfunding projects in the world of gaming. First in this week's crowdfunding projects is the Banner Saga Free. If you've been watching this show for a while, you might know that I'm a huge fan of the Banner Saga series, and for good reason. These games feature fantastically written stories, they have a stunning aesthetic, and unforgettable characters. In case you're unfamiliar with it, to give you a quick overview, the Banner Saga is an SRPG in which you lead a group of survivors through a world inspired by Norse mythology. The world as you know it is ending, and it's up to you to make the hard decisions to keep your party alive. The Banner Saga is Kickstarter royalty. The first game was crowdfunded all the way back in 2012, and it was a huge hit, making much more than the developers had initially aimed for, thus allowing them to take the Banner Saga from a brief, beautiful experience to a much more expansive strategy RPG with stunning hand-drawn art, rotoscoped animation, and a beautiful score by Austin Wintory. This third and final game will finish the trilogy, though if it's enough of a success, the developers may continue making games in the series. The Banner Saga Free is coming to Mac and Windows December 2018, and it'll most likely come to other platforms such as Xbox One, PS4, and mobile devices at a later date. If you'd like to go all in on the series, but haven't started yet, you can back the Kickstarter for $40 and get the first 2 games in the series as well as the third as soon as it's complete.
We set out to make an epic, mythical world with impactful story choices in a genre we've always loved, turn-based tactical strategy.
Imagine our surprise when you blasted the roof off our original goal and supported this work many times more than we asked. In fact, every extra penny we got went straight into the game and even helped us make the sequel. Now, here we are 5 years later, and Banner Saga has captured the imagination of millions of fantasy fans, gamers, musicians, and patrons of art, winning a myriad of awards in the process. So, why do we need your help? As you can see, we're still solidly indie, and although we've got a great partner in our publisher Versus Evil, we're still not taking any outside funding to make this final piece of the series.
To produce a game of this quality will not be cheap. We'd love more cutscenes, more animations, boss fights, and basically more time to do it right. The award-winning skill of Kapow Audio in Australia, who brought so much to the mood and ambiance of the game. The voiceover work that adds that legitimate Nordic flavor from the best in the business, Searland over in Iceland. Banner Saga
Whoa, guys. We haven't even talked about music. You know, original score. This was a big part of the first two games. Don't we want to bring that to Banner Saga 3?
Yes, and out to Los Angeles for the score from the amazing Austin Wintry.
So, how about it? Will you lend us your axe and join us in the Shield Wall for this final journey together? In return, we promise to deliver another first-class RPG and worthy conclusion to your epic saga.
Thanks for watching, and until our next update, Skull!
If you're looking for a cute story with less drama and more puzzles, you might be interested in Pedestrian, which is a puzzle platformer that's currently in development for Mac and Windows. It has a really interesting setting. You know that guy you see on restroom signs, road signs, those sorts of places? Well, in this game, you get to play as him. You have to rearrange things in order to traverse the world and solve puzzles. I'll let the game's trailer take it from here. It's much easier watched than said. The Pedestrian is set to be released June of 2017 for Mac and Windows. There's a demo available on the game's Kickstarter page if you'd like to try it out before backing. If you prefer more competitively oriented puzzling, Robo Puzzle Smash is currently live on Kickstarter and it looks really promising. I'm not going to beat around the bush. The developer's Kickstarter pitch video is on the weak side. The game itself, however, is what looks awesome. Essentially, it's a blocky sort of puzzler, think Tetris or Dr. Mario, with a competitive element. You go up against an opponent and fight with puzzle solving. As a big fan of Tetris Friends, this certainly has my attention. Robo Puzzle Smash is set to be released on Mac, Windows, and Linux in April.
Ability to spin the entire playfield. I mean, look at that! That's crazy! It's fast, competitive, and designed for tournaments. For the uninitiated, here's how it works. You attack your opponent by matching breaker blocks to the same color. You can line up combos and do massive damage. Anytime you want, you can spin the playfield and let gravity take over. Fill up your opponent's playfield and win. Even though it looks simple at first, there's a lot of depth that'll keep you coming back. It's like nothing you've ever played. We've been working with some fantastic animators, artists, and designers. We've come up with a unique voxel design and some really cool characters. And of course, in addition to multiplayer, we have a single-player story mode. All the characters have their own stories and endings, and you'll want to see them all.
Pillars of Eternity 2 was unveiled this week, and, as you may guess, there's a crowdfunding campaign for the game. The sequel to the critically acclaimed isometric CRPG is currently on Fig.co, the crowdfunding platform that allows you to either drop a traditional pledge for rewards, or allows you to make an investment in the game. So you have potential to make money if the game sees financial success after it's launched. It's interesting that they've gone with Fig for Pillars of Eternity 2. The first game in the series raised nearly $4 million on Kickstarter. That said, when the developers are looking at those sorts of numbers, it shouldn't come as a surprise that they're also looking for bigger investments. Fig seems to be set up for just that. Pillars of Eternity 2 is set to be released early in 2018.
I'm happy to announce that the same talented and passionate team has been working on the sequel to Pillars of Eternity for over the last year. Now, every dollar pledged or invested during the campaign is going to allow me to give the team more time and resources to make the best game possible for you. They're really excited to show you what they've been up to, so welcome to Deadfire.
We're pushing the boundaries of what the previous engine was capable of. The art team is very excited to be using new rendering techniques and technology. They'll showcase a level of detail never before seen in a game like this.
We learned a lot of lessons in making the first game, and we got a lot of great feedback from our fans. We learned a lot about how to use the technology that we had been sort of developing over the course of the game, and really we just want to leverage all that knowledge and all that passion to make an even greater experience.
We have one of the most talented, amazing teams here at Obsidian that has been very eager to show you what they've been up to. We will continue with regular updates through the crowdfunding campaign with more in-depth details about gameplay, features, Deadfire lore, and new companions in Pillars of Eternity 2. During this campaign, you have the opportunity to invest and be part of the success of Deadfire. From everyone here at Obsidian, we really want to thank you for your support.
South Arkansas is an unusual setting for a video game, but it's exactly where our next project is set. The game is Southern Monsters, and the premise is simple. You play as a guy in search of a cryptid, a strange monster that supposedly lives in those distant woods. According to legends, it follows the creeks, and that's where you expect to find it. Now, the game's strange setting is almost as interesting as its protagonist, a teen by the name of Cripplefoot, the victim of some sort of trauma. According to the game's Kickstarter page, it's inspired by its creator's own experience with online communities, domestic abuse, and suffering a disability, alongside the works of David Lynch. Southern Monsters is set to be released October 2017 for Mac and Windows. A Kickstarter project for a new platform managed to generate tremendous controversy this week. Early Ninja, as it's called, aims to abate a problem common to games sold before they're finished. That is, they're never finished. An increasing number of games sold in early access on Steam get stuck there, progressing slowly or not at all. It's unfortunate, but sometimes developers abandon their games and their customers. Early Ninja seeks to fix the problem by serving as a sort of middleman, taking the revenue from early access game sales and then paying it to developers when their games reach certain development milestones. So, level 1 completed, here's a portion of your money. Soundtrack finished, here's more of the money. On and on like that. However, if development of the game comes to a halt, the developers stop getting paid, and buyers become eligible for refunds based on how many milestones the game met before it was abandoned. So, if you buy an early access game through Early Ninja, and it only winds up half finished, you get to walk away with half of your money. Conceptually, this is interesting, but one can't help but wonder how many developers would really be on board with it. Honestly, what advantage does Early Ninja offer you as a developer? They aren't offering any sort of financial safety net or insurance. According to their Kickstarter pitch, the reason a developer would want to get behind this, you will be able to demonstrate that rather than being an impulsive developer, you truly want to deliver a top-notch finished product within a reasonable time frame. So basically, they're saying that you're not a fly-by-night asset flipper if you sign with Early Ninja. But if something goes horribly, terribly wrong and you can't finish your project, you lose both your reputation and your money. You couldn't convince me to buy a game through Early Ninja unless it were being developed by Double Fine, quite frankly, and I don't think that this platform, which takes 15% of the developer's money, is the greatest of ideas. Don't get me wrong. I am all for consumer protection, but this seems naive, like something you'd submit as part of a thesis in business school, not something you'd actually try to build a business out of. Developers who are going to take your money and run are going to do just that. Developers who are actually planning on finishing their game will, surprise, actually get it done. They might run into road bumps along the way, causing delays, but you know what? In the words of Shigeru Miyamoto, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. Speaking of quotes, their Kickstarter page is full of quotes from YouTubers who have nothing to do with the project. Early Ninja discloses the fact that these YouTubers did not endorse the project right there on their page, but it's not a good look, quite frankly. However, that's not the biggest deal. What is a big deal? The model website that they put up. Take a look.
Go to our website to vote on your favorite titles, so we can feature them on our platform.
Notice something wrong? That's right. They have nothing to do with any of these games. They haven't signed agreements with developers to feature their games on this site. This has raised a lot of ire within the developer community, and frankly, it's kind of misleading. Offering future users the chance to vote on games that will probably never appear on the platform is dumb. Also, it seems ironic that a supposed solution to crowdfunding problems is more crowdfunding. What do you think about Early Ninja? Is it a good idea or a disaster in the making? Hit us up on Twitter at OneRuleBeCool, and we'll be sure to share your thoughts on next week's episode. Finally, if you're looking for a new racing game, hot news. Dirt 4 has been announced, and we've got the teaser trailer right here. Enjoy. Well, that's it for this week's game news. For all the greatest game news and editorials, be sure to follow at OneRuleBeCool on Twitter and Instagram. Be sure to follow me at Jordan_Cameron for my own views.